You can see about Christian discrimination and the leftist takeover of all production in America in the past 20 years. I'm not a racist. My cousin is black. I've never been racist my entire life. I coded computers since I'm age 4. I am now 48, and I've never gotten my first opportunity at work. I have a Carnegie Mellon degree at computer science. I know several Christians who have BS and computer science in many different colleges that are have credentials. They never got work. Okay, so when you read this, understand that I am coming from an angle where I'm trying to bait my target into giving more information than he should. I'm doing this by using inflammatory words that are not normally my vocabulary. I'm doing this for deliberate cause to provoke, so they show just how much they hate Christians. If I did not provoke them, I would not keep them on the thread chain. We would not have got the information that the job is to make sure Christians don't get children, so we don't pass their politics on to the next generation. It is much like when Pharaoh said, throw the firstborn of the Hebrews into the Nile. We have a genocide of white Christians in America. Like, again, this is not racism. Do not hate people for what rich people are using as agendas. People are people. Okay? There's people, there's corporations, and there's governments. Love everybody. Okay. Now we're going to continue, and you're going to see just how spiteful these people are. Remember, I'm role playing on this chat. I'm talking about my life and how I never got a job and how like people want to marry me, but I can't get a wife because I'm deliberately not paid for my work and I'm not employed. I put out 1,000 resumes, 0 jobs. 100 headhunters, 0 jobs. I got 2 interviews and 1,000 resumes. Now you're gonna find out why in America Christians are hated and to what degree they are and why we can't get jobs. So they're talking. This post was about Black Panther. It got deleted. The Black Panther devs of Disney Corporation said they won't hire white people, and they went on tirades of why white people are people they don't want to hire. Okay, well, that's fine. They're just Disney's pushing racism. Nothing new. Okay, so the guy replied to says, "What an absolute clown. Not worth say. Yet you still engage. Since GamerGate affects my entire life from age 4 to 47, I'm doing documentaries about it. Part 1 is 3 hours long, and here it talks about this. You know, you can't even post Rumble links on Reddit back then. I'm banned from Reddit, by the way. If you notice my character here, he's banned, but my posts are still up there, so I'm not saying anything. You have to assemble this link. Liberal Reddit doesn't want anybody going to free speech sites. They can't regulate because they expose the truth of mass discrimination and the hate the left has towards those of faith. Again, I have 3,000 hours of video to review, and in 3,000 hours of video, you probably find 20 hours of censorship and discrimination against my religion by employers, and 200 hours of like talking about how bad it is. The events of discrimination and hate versus my religion are so many we can write a book. The series on GamerGate 2 could end up being hundreds of hours in itself, but this is only 3 hours long. This guy started to challenge me. Wait, I want to know who owes me money. How much money they owe me. Names, numbers, please. And I said, your mom. But I was baiting him by saying he prostitution of his own mom, right? Like I said, I wanted to get really foul with these guys because I know how to mess with them. How could I forget that a well-known trip that lawyers get bribed by their mothers to lie and go against God? Oh, you wish I was saying your mom promised you that. Click the link, mofo. Thinks the men should never be at work, never have rights, not have a family. You're actually worse than a mofo. This guy's arguing that some people shouldn't get work, shouldn't have rights, and not start a family. I called him worse than a mofo. Your mom is probably not going to pay up. Everyone in the neighborhood knows that. Just a heads up. So I just said he banged his mom, and she's not going to pay him. Very Christian of you. See, I'm baiting him. Really feeling that love for all people you admonish me for lacking. Kindly make the quotes of anything I said resembles the accused of. Yo, putz, do not form your end. If you really want to bring God into it, may God judge between us. See, idiocracy is all about trash talking and ghetto talking, right? That's why I'm here. It'd be dumber than you wishing men would never get a job in life. You openly think it's awesome that. There you go. Oh, I forgot. This is this guy. Holier than thou. Ask a Christian, like when ends. Ask Christ like ends went on Reddit. I don't think jobless is awesome, nor did I. No one wants to hint that maybe I possibly. I possibly might wish you not have a job because I don't. Find a quote saying otherwise post. What I actually wish is you would realize that blaming your misfortune on your faith is a cop out. I know, blah, blah, blah. Faith is not a barrier to entry. That's a lie. Try. Definition of sanity. Blaming your fortunes on others. This is standard shill stuff. Your direction of life is within your control. Yeah, I'm pretty sure going to Carnegie Mellon, coding thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in my own time. That's totally not why I should never get a job, right? I just spent my entire life programming, and I should never get a job, right? So like, there's a quote in Idiocracy called "You talk like a fag." So I called it "You talk like a fag, and you're too dumb to even know what sub you're in." Once you say you should be able to choose who should work and not. Once you say that you should be able to choose who should work and not, you're a mofo at the end. So like this guy's choosing who should work and who shouldn't, right? Today you say Christians shouldn't work or raise to get a family. 60 years ago, like that, yeah. 80 years ago, Christians shouldn't. Once again, in Nazi Germany, they say Christians shouldn't raise a family or live. It's Nazism all over again. Like I said, I'm baiting this guy out. Awesome. I love your sad. You're sad I'm calling your name. That means I won. You're calling for what amounts to systematic genocide, and you're mad that I'm offending you. Awesome. I love pissing people off who believe other sexes, races, and nationalities, religions must be exterminated. Largely, one of the things is true. You're a liar, and pushing Christians should not get a job, get work, and have enough money to raise a family. Or B, you honestly believe Christians should not get a work, get a family. You know, it's either a liar pushing it or he believes it. It both means you're deranged sicko, and other human beings should be broke, starving, and not having kids. You know who else is involved? Believes I should not have kids? Pharaoh who threw the Hebrew kids in the Nile should be genocided. To conclude, you believe GamerGate 2, where liberals deny Christians and jobs, is great. You believe that other human beings you despise really don't deserve to be a part of society, should be cast out and make no money and have no family. Thanks for playing. It looks like you lose. You can't play the victim of being insulted by words when you're calling for the removal of others from society. You state your position over and over about Christian dominance, not liberal dominance. That's not true. It's a fantasy land you live in. Pure Baghdad blah blahs. It was funny watching you regulate your own puke for a while, regurgitate your own puke for a while, but jokes get old after a while. Let's part ways after Mark Zuckerberg calls you a bullshitter too, because he can't control his liberal employees. So it's well known that big tech is liberal. And here's Mark Zuckerberg saying it.
The First Amendment.
Well, Senator, our goal is certainly not to engage in political speech. I'm not that familiar with the specific legal language of the law that you speak to. So
he's talking about the First Amendment. He doesn't know what the legal language of
trying to lay out how broadly
the First Amendment is.
Well, Mr. Zuckerberg, I will say there are
I've never heard of the First Amendment. It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. There have been numerous instances with Facebook.
7 years ago.
In May of 2016, Gizmodo reported that Facebook had purposely and routinely suppressed conservative stories from trending news, including stories about CPAC, including stories about Mitt Romney, including stories about the Lois Lerner IRS scandal, including stories about Glenn Beck. In addition to that, Facebook has initially shut down the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day page, has blocked a post of a Fox News reporter, has blocked over 24 Catholic pages, and most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page with 1.2 million Facebook followers after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community. To a great many Americans, that appears to be a pervasive pattern of political bias. Do you agree with that assessment?
Senator, let me say a few things about this. First, I understand where that concern is coming from because Facebook and the tech industry are located in Silicon Valley, which is an extremely left-leaning place.
All right, so he's saying because Facebook and tech companies are in Silicon Valley, it's extremely left-leaning. And he's going to move on and say most of employees are left-leaning, right? And then they express their own views in censorship.
And this is actually a concern that I have and that I try to root out in the company is making sure that we don't have any bias in the work that we do.
That's a lie, because his company is clearly biased against Christians. The senator just explained it. There's no leftist pages taken down, only conservative pages.
And I think it is a fair concern that that people would at least wonder about.
Let me ask this
Now,
question. Are you aware of any ad or page that has been taken down from Planned Parenthood?
Senator, I'm not, but let me just.
How about MoveOn.org?
Sorry?
How about MoveOn.org?
I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not specifically aware. I mean, I'm not sure.
In your testimony, you say that you have 15 to 20,000 people working on security and content review. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in?
So earlier he said, remember Mark Zuckerberg already said Facebook is located in Silicon Valley, and thus implying his employees are all leftists, right? He's already answered this question, that his employees are very leftist. But when he asked this in a way that would be criminality, right? The 1960s Civil Rights Act says you can't discriminate in hiring. If you do, you can give up to a year in prison, right? So remember earlier he asked if about this, and Zuck said Silicon Valley is located in. Silicon Valley located in Silicon Valley. Congratulations, Jim. You know, and the island is on the island. You know, and the island is the island. So he says Facebook is located in Silicon Valley. Zuck says Facebook is located in Silicon Valley and it's extremely left wing. So what he's saying is his employees are left wing. So let's let this guy ask this question again.
15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review. 15 to 20 those 50 orientation. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review?
No, Senator. We do not generally ask people about their political orientation when they're joining the company.
So as CEO, have you ever made hiring or firing decisions based on political positions or what candidate?
So he just said he doesn't know. Like, remember, Zuckerberg already answered it. He said he's a left-leaning.
The company.
So he already asked if it's. See, he answered the question two different ways. Earlier, Zuckerberg said Facebook's located in Silicon Valley, which is left-leaning, but he answers it differently here.
Content review. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review?
So Zuck's already answered. They're mostly leftist. But what's the answer this time?
No, Senator. We do not generally ask people about their political orientation when they're joining the company.
Okay, so this could be technically true. But he also knows they're generally leftist from before. And this guy, that's why this guy's eyes are like that. Like, did you really just say that shit to me? Like, Zuck's trying his best to weasel word, right? Like, number one, he knows they're mostly leftist, but he doesn't ask them their political affiliations. Like, therefore, they're mostly leftist. In fact, mostly all of big tech is leftist. And if they find you're not a leftist, they will fire you. It's the leftist overtake of corporations and government jobs since the past 20 years. And let's listen more.
So as CEO, have you ever made hiring or firing decisions based on political positions or what candidates they supported?
No.
All right, there you go. That's easy to answer, because otherwise you go to jail for that. All right, let's get back to reading this. So, Zuck just talked about how he can't control his liberal employees. No, this guy, I'm trying to bait into stuff. He says, well, one thing's certain. Your lack of people wanting to represent you is in addition to having zero evidence you can present because you're so insufferable and delusional. You cannot pay anyone enough money to represent you. Not only could you afford attorney after being employed for 2 decades, I called you as sad as an pitiable, but honestly, you aren't even that. You would have to have a redeeming quality of some kind to be pitiable. But all I see is stupidly misplaced anger and your delusion of grandeur. I'd say to get help, but I might as well tell you to get a job because you never do either. Have a good day as someone as your personality can have. Well, one thing is certain. Yeah, it's becoming increasingly evident you never watched the movie Idiocracy and have no idea where you're at. It's like, bonus, I just realized why I love this. You're still underhandedly pretending to be nice to me, and I'm openly insulting you. This was actually awesome. So you see what he's trying to say. He's trying to be he's trying to pretend like he's nice to me. Your lack of people wanting to represent you, having zero evidence because you're insufferable, cannot have a good day. You know, He's trying to like be nice. I said, you're underhandedly pretending to be nice to me, and I'm openly insulting you, and you and your ideas that liberals should be the only ones working in big tech. GamerGate 2, it's a real thing. How people who think you're fooling with your pretend niceness. Don't worry, scrote. Plenty of tards out there living kick-ass lives. We're in idiocracy. If you ever watched a movie, it's all about 80s insults and making fun of people and people being dumb. And he doesn't even understand it. He doesn't understand where he's at. Uh, I was being nice by telling you he wasn't being nice. I mean, like, come on. Anybody's read this guy's words is not nice. I was being nice to you, telling the uncomfortable truth that you and you alone are the problem, and you can actually take steps to turn that around. Now, I'm not trying to be nice because of my effort for you insult me, lie about what I said, or you are so delusional to think you're being accurate, yet repeatedly unable to back up your accusations with dark codes and spout crazy shit by the second, and wonder why you can't get a job. Ha! I would love to fly on the wall of one of your interviews if you could even get one. But now it's obvious that you will fail. You want to fail. Otherwise, you can maintain your victim complex. You made it abundantly clear that you deserve it. You call yourself a Christian, but you have done nothing remotely Christ-like. You have done nothing in contempt for everybody to speak of. You berate people who know more than you for explaining things work. All through it, you just say, poor me, woe is me, everything out to get me. You want to know why? Because it's how you act. Because you aren't shit. Yet think you're world class and make sure let everyone know you deserve everything you have, which sounds like basically nothing. All right, so this guy's still trying to say he's nice. Okay, he's still trying to say he's being nice. Okay, anybody can read this. This is not nice, and I call him out. Right, I call him, you're not being nice, and he eventually admits he's not being nice later. Right, thus for like admitting he's a liar here. Let's continue on. Oh no, you insulted and lied in every post. The more you repeat your lies, the more people see you the sick bastard you are. You want people not talking about Gamergate too. The more replies we have, the more the thread sticks out. My goal is a massive reply thread, so this thread has 10,000 replies. Exactly why I'm playing the role, right? So in Idiocracy, like I said, it's 80s insults. It's all about like trashing people, and I'm bringing it because I know that's the way the bait them into talking. When I talk to actual people in real life, I'm respectful. I have friends everywhere. I'm like a local celebrity. People think I'm awesome because I'm nice to everybody. If you go out of your way to be nice to everybody, mow their lawns, pick up their sticks, go DoorDash for them when they need stuff, help them out when they need you to do runs for them. They love you. You're just nice to them, and they can trust you, and you do runs for them, make food for them and stuff. You help everybody around you, right? But when it comes to like Idiocracy and baiting jerks. You gotta go over all the way. So I said, you think my win condition is dropping out? Nope, that's your win condition, but you failed. Every time you lie, you fail. Every time you think Christians should not work in society, you fail. Every time you hate so much, you think others should not raise a family, you fail. Every time you justify your passive aggressive hate, you fail. Every time is a win for me and a loss for you, and your cause to hide GamerGate 2. Remember, they had to delete this thread because it was too much. All right. Not only do I not care what GamerGate 2 is, I'm no longer suggesting the rational thing that would bring you success. Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. It will be exactly what you deserve as it has. Well, then, it's even more dumb you spend days spending against its existence. You're certainly part of the democracy. So we're talking about GamerGate 2 in here, and he doesn't know what it is, but he's arguing against it. Right? So it's even more dumb of you to argue against its existence. Says the decades unemployed loser who hasn't figured out he's the sole source of his problems in life. I don't take you or your judgment remotely seriously. In fact, I'd be more concerned if you called me something nice than any uninspired insult you come with. They probably should have called me with your failed games. There you go. Come out of the closet pretending to not be insulting, and you just do it. Doesn't it feel good to just drop your hateful insults against my religion openly? You will never help you. You just love liberals being in charge of big tech and denying Christians careers. Deny us the ability to buy a home. Deny us the ability to support a family and raise children. Doesn't it feel better now that you're just honestly sharing your real motives? I mean, it shows you lied, but lots of stuff shows you lied. It doesn't feel good to vent your hate openly for a chance instead of pretending to care. Now that you got the weight off your chest, what else do you have to say about the world? GamerGate 2. Oh, no, it's just you in particular. Christians, a group, are great, and I wouldn't want them to suffer at all, more or less. My whole family is Christian. Most people I know are Christian. I want those Christians, and Christians in general, to do well, have jobs and families. I just want you to have a family because don't want you to have a family because show you think what you do, the mods of kids you'd have. Irreparable damage. I'm actually seriously there. Thanks God you don't have kids. You probably shouldn't be around coworkers much either for similar reasons. Honestly, I think you just belong in a mental hospital. Many decades of failures have been God's way of letting you know to seek institutional help, not you to listen. Listen to the level I hate this guy calling him. Just you in particular. There you go, lie again. Once you lie in all. Liberals not want Christians to work because not GamerGate 2. Liberals not want Christians they hate to work in programming jobs. Please tell me what I believe. You obviously know me better than I know myself. First off, the U.S. legal system is not a belief system. Secondly, it's amusingly showing that you don't know a lick of law, as you claimed you did earlier. You can't answer what is false. It is false almost means how. So earlier he called himself like a legal guy. Obviously, which is why I didn't say why I believe in legalism. That's what I believe, since you know me so well. False and one, false and all. Wonder if you think lawyers, powder wigs, painted faces, Latinisms are so useful in law. Why would you ask yourself questions? You talk to yourself often? I'm just baiting him right here. It has been glaringly apparent since you found out middle school reading comprehension is not your strong suit. That's what I believe. Since you believe, I meant shocking. Now you can see how flabberhead as I would most people with maturity intelligence. Your little insanity was fun, but now attempting to close stuff. Since you're a crazy guy, so you're just still insulting people. Yep, you already said you were bored right at the start. Yet and said we were done arguing. Yet said you wouldn't post again, but here you are, bored out of your mind, confused and self-conflicting. Your logical conflicts, internal monologue, gone public, are highly entertaining to us all. GamerGate 2, liberals won't let Christians work. Let's watch as they try and walk and talk with their panties in a one. So this is a real thing. This thread was based on a Disney employee saying they won't hire white people. It was a Black Panther, it's a famous interview. Black Panther Disney employee saying they won't hire white people. Going on about how whites are a toxic problem, right? Now remember, I'm not a racist. I'm against racism, right? I'm also allowed to be against racism if people are racist against like what I am, right? Like it doesn't matter if you're white, black, green, purple, it doesn't matter what color you are. God made many varieties of people. Like I said, my cousins are black. They're cool. We hang out all the time. I got my cousin a job in a scientific research company. When I found him in a bar, a dive bar, like a redneck dive bar that says no colors in the front, but they mean no gang colors, right? It's a troll, right? It's a redneck dive bar, but we're not racist, we're not racist. We make fun of it, but we're not racist, right? So like, would you think like in the middle of like Northwest Virginia, like which we call our place, like a black guy would get a job from another redneck and then work in scientific research? Probably not. You're probably not thinking that's going to be something that happened, but it did happen. That's something that it changed his life. I was really happy. Because I always help all my buds, So this is about GamerGate 2. Liberals don't want Christians to work, and it's because they don't want us to have jobs, so we can't get a wife and a house, so we can't have a family. That's what they openly say. So what do I believe exactly? Be very detailed. Why should I care? You got ruined by my trash talk after you declared I should not have work or have a family. Now you're begging for sympathy. Man, you're truly a joke. GamerGate 2, the Rainbow Connection acts like a union mafia. Won't let people in unless they seem gay friendly. Fires people in the corporation that seem like they deem like a threat. Like Geoff Frazier. Geoff Frazier was a good guy. What part of do I believe begging for sympathy? And you absolutely do not deserve to have a family. I have no sympathy for stating that. Anybody can see decades of failure trusting children. Basically, ability to non-stop always shortcuts. It's same people like you don't make good parents and do not make good partners. Your mental condition is treatable since whether medication, therapy, or both. Maybe productive, maybe as it stands, you're too manic to be trusted with responsibility that comes with holding a job. Less what actual children will depend on you. It infers that I care what you think. You've already expressed that me being a Christian, I should not have work or place in society. True to form, this is the protest I have against GamerGate too. Liberals should not be firing everyone who isn't liberal friendly. They should not be denying work to anyone who isn't liberal. Knowledge and care have little to do with anything. That seemed like a care. Gamergate 2. Liberals don't want Christians working, having a family, or even existing. But they want you to care what they say and what they feel. You've lied many times. Nothing makes sense or bears any semblance to reality. Therefore, your word salad is worst time. I'm merely here to make fun of you. Whoosh, not surprised. Let's review. You got caught in lies many times in this thread. You do what all liberals do. When logic gets in the way, you make up your own reality. It's called bullshitting, so I don't need to read what you type past something I can make fun of you for. I think it's funny how much effort you put into bullshit when your credibility has been lost right from the start. Constantly lying while you're a grown man rolling around the around like a baby. I have dignity, listen to me. You're making you sing, embarrassing yourself, and it's great. The higher the view count, the better it is. It's like I said, once anyone starts lying, make up your own reality. No one cares what you say. It's nonsense. We then get to see what you're trying to push. You've only pushed hate. You're pushing hate here, and I think it's awesome that your fellow man never gets worked even close. That's genocide levels of hate versus Christians. You got caught lying and wished me poor, broken, without a wife or children because I believe all men should love and help each other. I don't need to argue. You confessed I was right repeatedly. I have not lied a single time. That's actually pretty good. Oh man. Start arguing. This is boring. I'm done talking. You don't care what you done. I just called him out. A taco meter. Taco meter is cool. Made up Gamergate. No, Gamergate's real. Everybody said it, you know. Uh, all right. Anyway, so there's a guy here who claimed to be in the law, but didn't know a basic thing that all law school people knew. That you can't be caught lying. Then originally he said he wasn't insulting me, but after we got into it, he said, "Yeah, I'm insulting you." So he was lying the whole way through it, and the only reason I got into it with him because I knew I could bait him into saying worse stuff. So let's see what other people have to say about this original Black Panther lady from Disney who says white people shouldn't work. Discrimination. There's a lawsuit waiting to happen. She submitted everything in the video. Uh, she didn't advocate. She implemented segregation. Yeah. I'm just trying to find out where all this stuff starts. You know. Don't do it on the tape. The cramming. First rule of cramming: don't do it on tape. All right, I'm gonna scroll down through here real fast. You should look up GamerGate 2. It's tied into, I believe, Pizzagate. I'm not really sure, but I know it's tied into the GamerGate one. It's tied into the DEI, USAID. It's the leftist takeover of America, where they will hire leftists, not because they have skill, but because they're all leftist friendly. You know, they want all the leftists to have all the money so they can party up on the dime that people made before. They're robbing from America, and they won't hire normal people. And when you call them out, it's like what you just saw. They lie, try and cover it up, try and make it about you. It's your problem, not a systematic problem in society. Um, so just scrolling through it real fast. EA Black Panther was Black Panther. Well, let's make sure it was Disney. Black Panther, Disney, EA. Black Panther, Disney. Yeah, there was a movie, Disney, and EA shut the studio down. Its the rights are owned by Disney, but EA was running this racist game dev. Um, so there you go. It's all about cultural appropriation, changing what it means to be America. To me, peak America was like Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. Axel Foley. And you saw him play in Shrek. Um, Dude, old man brain. Eddie Murphy, yeah, damn. Like my old man brain, forget school people. Let's speak America, man. The people just doing what they want to do, having a good time out there, wild stuff, and 80s movies, 90s movies were great, right? That was peak America, peak America. And then 98, Hong Kong goes sovereign, and China believes it's in World War III. It doesn't want to actually fire bullets, though, because when you fire bullets at people, they fire back. So they just started bribing Hollywood, our radio companies, RIA, MPAA. They started bribing our politicians to just subdue our population and push brainwashing. You got the No Child Gets Ahead Act. When that happened? When they passed the No Child Gets Ahead Act? Probably around there. Probably around 99. 2002. Yeah, around 1999. There was the dumbing down. You got the slowest rate of the kid, right? And they did all sorts of stuff where they just kind of ruined America. Like the China's bribes, Iran's bribes, the West bribes ruined America. Now you have stuff like mass immigration of Islamic people in the United Kingdom. You can't even like speak out against them. Um, it goes on and on and on. World War III, man. And part of it is the leftist capture of the industry. Every time communism comes over, they have the leftist capture. They give the leftist power. When you give people power, they want to fight for you. Like back to old medieval knights, you give them a castle. The samurai get damias. Here's a big freaking castle and land. Like, yes, I will fight for you. You give me castle and land. In America, you got like homeless vets and banks with like 10,000 houses, right? It's all corrupted. What we have here is corrupted, but the leftists are given everything. You've given them everything. USAID money, my parents paid for. My tax money, my parents paid, were paid into USAID, which was designed to make sure leftists take over America. NASA won't hire Christians. I have a lawyer. I had a lawyer talking about how I won't get hired in NASA because I'm Christian. That's on Twitter. I'm like, everywhere I go, people were saying we hate you because you're Christian. And at least people know now that Christians can't get hired. We can't get work. The United States Justice Department of Civil Rights doesn't give a shit that Christians can't get work. ACLU doesn't care about Christians. It's all about leftists taking over America, and they're going to frame it however they're using their positions of power to frame it however they want, right? But the facts are Christians and Jews are denigrated right now. We've lost rights, When the Hockey for Everyone come in hockey, I got banned on the Penguins forums. I got banned on hockey forums, and they cited my religion. Gays could have watched hockey before. There's nothing wrong with coming to a hockey game, guys, and watching a hockey game. Like no one cares. But now it's Christians aren't allowed to talk online. We're censored. It's all about taking away people's rights. When everybody has equal rights and they want to give someone more rights, what they're really saying is they want to take people's rights away. Well, anyway, I'm age 48. I've made video games. I've made big tech, Apple, Google, Congregate, MTV, Shockwave, total of $5 million. They never paid me any of that contractually. 100 headhunters, never got my job. 1,000 resumes, got me like 2 interviews, never got a job, right? But yet I've been coding since age 4. I have enough knowledge when I was age 12 to be a professional programmer, and like I'm age 48 now with a Carnegie Mellon degree. I've also done some really wild stuff that you wouldn't believe right now. But like long story short, I know my stuff programming. So why don't I get my first chance at work? Why does everybody else get the work except for the Christians? No, it's just leftists taking over the industry. It's how communism always rolls in.